I'm on this Newsweek article from 2 days ago talking about different squatter laws, by state. Arkansas. In Arkansas, squatters can claim ownership of a property after 7 years of occupying it unless it...
It's like adverse possession, yeah. So you can sit. So it's the same thing, by the way. This is good for people to know. It's like one of those law school things that they teach you, and every state's different. But let's say that you have a fence on your house, and your house is actually 5 acres, but your fence in 3 acres of that 5 acres. And then your neighbor starts using the 2 acres that aren't fenced in. It is adverse possession after a certain amount of time. The years depend on the state. So because you waived your right to effectively protect your space, they could say, hey, I've been using this 2 acres for the last 11 years. Effectively, it's mine.
Oh, wow.
And then you're in litigation and all kinds of stuff. So it's the same thing. If you're in a relationship for a certain amount of time and you're living and acting like you're married, you're effectively married and can get, let's say you break up, it's like having no prenup and you lose half your stuff.
Oh. Like he's crying because now he can't squat. The baby situation, they're going to take the baby away. And now he feels threatened for his life. So now all those videos that he made where he was like, everybody come here, take advantage. He's in places showing how to steal and not get caught. Well, good for you.
We don't know which homeowner shot at him. I guess they think that they did something wrong, which they did not. If somebody's breaking in your house, you're more than welcome to shoot them in Santa Rosa County. We prefer that you do, actually. So whoever that was,
he's my hero.
Come see
He's
us.
my hero. I don't know who you are, but I would love to meet you.
Saturday, shoot a lot better.
That's
No. Back up 30 seconds. Matt, see the other part of it? If you take a gun safety class, listen.
Whoever that was, you're not in trouble. Come see us.
You're not in trouble.
We have a gun safety class we put on every other Saturday. And if you take that, you'll shoot a lot better and hopefully you'll save taxpayers money.
Yes, sir. You just found it. In course with you. Let's chat.
Welcome to the In the Course Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. Once again, we have another exciting show for you. In this segment, we're going to discuss squatting in the United States. A lot of people may not know, but in certain states, they have very lax laws on squatting. Now, what is squatting, you ask? Squatting is when you leave your property for a period of time and a stranger who breaks into your property ends up staying in your property for an extended period of time since you've last been there. Now, if you attempt to come back to remove that person from your property, they now have rights, and you now have to go through the legal system to somehow get that person out of your property that you paid for and that you're liable for paying taxes on and all that stuff. Now, the squatters end up having certain rights above you being the owner of the property. This particular show comes because, fortunately, somebody in New York and California tend to be very liberal states with very renter-friendly laws and, squatter-friendly laws, if you will. And apparently a lady got arrested for attempting to get a squatter out of their house. Furthermore, there was a person who was actually murdered by a squatter when they attempted to get the person out of their house. Now, in recent developments, a governor by the name of Ron DeSantis just recently signed a law into Florida, where he's the governor of Florida, that prohibits people from squatting in people's houses and creates a more easier process to remove squatters from somebody's house. In this segment, Patrick Bet-David and his home team discusses the squatting issues and the phenomenon that it is, and just addresses how absurd it is for somebody to just essentially take over your property and do as they see fit without any regard to the fact that you're being violated. And, it really kind of addresses the fact that the law doesn't even support the people who is being violated in that way. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this topic.
This governor, who's doing a phenomenal job in the great state of Florida, DeSantis, eliminates squatter rights.
Yeah.
Okay. Gives power to cops to remove offenders because a couple squatters in New York, one guy, Venezuelan, illegal Venezuelan, I believe, is teaching people how to actually go squatting in New York. I don't know if you saw this step-by-step process on how to do it and how they're protected. And this is what DeSantis does. Governor DeSantis signed legislation into law eliminating squatter rights, stating we are in the state of Florida ending the squatter scam once and for all. The new law effective July 1st criminalizes squatting and empowers property owners to swiftly remove squatters, addressing previous challenges where squatters were treated as tenants, requiring lengthy legal battles for eviction. DeSantis highlighted the severity of the issue by comparing Florida's approach to states like California and New York. Rob, do you have the video of him explaining this? Go ahead and play this clip.
Does your house belong to you? Or if you are not using it, can someone just come in, squat for a period of time, and then claim that they have a right to be there? This so-called squatter scam is something that's happening around the country. There's even videos telling people how to go in and take over an empty house. That was never how the law was supposed to work. And in Florida, we are going to take action today to end this scam and to protect the private property rights of our homeowners. You should not have anyone go on your property and take it over and then try to assert some rights. It's absurd. We're going to put an end to it today, and we'll be leading the way yet again in the process.
The one thing you got to give this guy credit.
Great
When it comes
governor.
down to policies and getting stuff done, like from that stuff,
I like
marketing,
stuff.
but the stuff, some of the stuff he does
Yeah.
squatting. So you know what this makes you want to do? As a real estate, as an investor,
Yeah.
like, okay, if I'm going to buy a house, if I'm going to buy properties, if I'm going to rent it out, if I'm going to do something, guess what? Come to Florida.
Of course.
You don't have to worry about it because you're in California. God forbid Moral, a relative director, they had a person living in one of their houses in Valencia. They're like, we can't get some of these people out. What do you mean you can't get the people out? Well, because the law, the way it works, you can't sell it. You have to wait for this. You have to wait for that. Literally, you have to go through that process. I'm glad the fact that he's
You
doing
know
this
what?
in Florida.
It's true. And I think there was a sheriff in Florida that actually said something in a press conference and said in the state of Florida, if somebody breaks into your home, you have the right to use a weapon and shoot.
Yep.
I love that. I'm a Second Amendment girl. So
Yeah.
I'm all for that because in the world that we're living in, I hope you're armed and ready.
If I left my house and I came back, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call and have them bomb it like for the termites and while they're in the house. And I have Rob, the one of the clips I sent you, if you don't mind, I have a feel good story for everybody at home because I know we covered the story of that Venezuelan illegal migrant influencer that was on TikTok making those videos. Remember that guy for squatting?
Oh, the
having babies?
motivational speaker,
Yeah.
amateur lawyer.
Guess what? He's now a fugitive after fleeing ICE custody, and he posted a snotty, sobbing clip over being threatened by very powerful people. His family's being in danger, and people looking for where he's staying, and his accounts being look at our friend, look at our boy, poor kid, but look at this idiot.
Yeah.
Oh no!
You can't play this, Rob.
Don't play the music. But he has a booger in his nose. Like he's crying because now he can't squat. The baby situation, they're going to take the baby away. And now he feels threatened for his life. So now all those videos that he made where he was like, everybody come here, take advantage. He's in places showing how to steal and not get caught.
Well,
good for you.
I know
Good
where
for
he'd
you.
be nice and safe and comfortable.
California?
Caracas.
Oh, yeah, no shit. Get out of here, bro.
Yeah, this is the guy.
What did he do?
This is the guy. So
Play it.
feel free to use your gun.
Oh, let me see this.
We don't know which homeowner shot at him. I guess they think that they did something wrong, which they did not. If somebody's breaking in your house, you're more than welcome to shoot them in Santa Rosa County. We prefer that you do, actually. So whoever that was,
He's my hero.
come see
He's
us.
my hero. I don't know who you are, but I would love to meet you.
Saturday. And if you take that, you'll shoot a lot better.
That's what- that was- that's-
No. Back up 30 seconds.
You know
Matt.
what?
See the other part of it? If you take a gun safety class, listen.
Whoever that was, you're not in trouble. Come see
You're
us.
not in trouble.
We have a gun safety class we put on every other Saturday. And if you take that, you'll shoot a lot better, and hopefully you'll save taxpayers money.
And save
Taxpayer money.
So this is where? This is California?
Listen, this is
Florida.
what
Florida. Oh,
He's,
Santa Rosa's in Florida.
Yeah, Santa Rosa County Sheriff Bob
I love
Johnson.
you,
Dude.
Sheriff Johnson.
Bro, because I'm telling you right now, if people see that video that want to squat, they're going to be like, nah, let's probably not. Let's not do
Let's
that.
go to New York.
Let's go to New York,
Why
California.
squat over here?
Yeah.
But what are squatter laws across the country though? Like, what is the most? I'm on this Newsweek article from 2 days ago talking about different squatter laws. You know, by state. Arkansas. In Arkansas, squatters can claim ownership of a property after 7 years of occupying it, unless it.
It's like adverse possession, yeah. So you can sit. So it's the same thing. By the way, this is good for people to know. It's like one of those law school things that they teach you, and every state's different. But let's say that you have a fence on your house, and your house is actually 5 acres, but your fence in 3 acres of that 5 acres, and then your neighbor starts using the 2 acres that aren't fenced in. It's like it is adverse possession after a certain amount of time. The years depend on the state. So because you waived your right to effectively protect your space, they could say, hey, I've been using this 2 acres for the last 11 years. Effectively, it's mine.
Oh, wow.
And then you're in litigation and all kinds of stuff. So it's really funny. They could do that, but they could come after Trump and take his home in 6 months.
Oh, my
right?
God.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it literally says that it becomes. They must show proof of their presence of the property, including having made improvements to the property and paid property tax. The squatter must not be sharing the property with anyone else. California squatters in Golden State can claim ownership of a property after living there continuously for 5 years, as long as they can. So
there's a law in family law. There was, and it's pretty much debunked now, but there's. And I'm not a family law attorney. I'll say that. Could you imagine if I was?
That'd be hilarious.
But there is a case there. It's the same thing. If you're in a relationship for a certain amount of time and you're living and acting like you're married, you're effectively married and can get, let's say you break up. It's like having no prenup and you lose half your stuff.
That's why
isn't that in law school they teach you about the actor Lee Marvin and Michelle Triola?
Right.
I think that was the California.
And that's why the right thing to do is to create term limits in marriage. And then you
I got it.
There should be term limits. Okay, you go to the kids, you go to the in-laws. Hey, we're running for second term. I don't think it's a good idea. I think you guys cut it right now.
Let's have a debate. Oh my God,
I've been reelected 21 years in a row. I'm undefeated, and I'm campaigning again.
So proud of you, man. You're like some of these senators that stay for 40 years.
That's so funny.
I'm not leaving.
Hilarious.
Well, by the way, how they make you. Do you want to talk about squatters? The reverse. When you're getting divorced, you are not, like in New Jersey. I have friends that are getting divorced, and they have to stay in the same house as the person they're getting divorced from, because the person that leaves could look like they abandoned the property.
Oh my God.
Imagine.
Oh my God.
So now you're getting divorced and you have to stay in the house.
And by the way, if I was the governor, I would say we have to document it to make sure you guys are getting along. So record it, vlog it, because it's so entertaining. Pure entertainment. Here's a Johnson family this afternoon at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. This is my bathroom.
I'm not washing your clothes no more.
Valuetainment. No dinner for you.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny.
This
I
is
want to
why
stay
I left
married,
you.
just like Joe Biden, to the end, till I end my marriage, drooling down a flight of stairs.
And your underwear.
That's it.
And your
Well, listen,
underwear.
Tom, we're proud of you, buddy. So, okay. All right. So let's see what we got here. Next.
Okay, so that was the story on squatting. And as you can see, the laws are just all over the place, man. You can pay for something, be responsible for the taxes and maintain it. But if somebody is squatting on the property, has been there for 7 years, somehow, some way, or 5 years, depending on what state you're on, they now have legal rights to it as if they're the ones who paid for it. Meanwhile, you may have a mortgage and all this other stuff, and none of it means a thing. Because technically, the squatters beat you out. What a fun system. All right, going back even into, what we talked about with, she even alluded to relationships. And that's another thing. To be in a relationship with someone where you live with them together and you've lived for an extended period of time. So there's a girl you're dating for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. You're living in a house together and you think you're just going to break up with her and walk away and you're not going to be entitled to having to pay her. They're telling you that it's almost like being married to her. And now you may have to pay some sort of alimony, or you may have to pay to sustain her lifestyle. You may have to leave her with this place. You may have to be financially responsible because you was in a relationship with a woman. And even though you guys didn't officially walk down the aisle, didn't do that, she can demonstrate that y'all been living for an extended period of time together and you've been in this relationship and it was almost as if you were married. And technically the courts can say, yeah, we will count it as if you were married, and we'll give her the same rights that your wife would have had, and you will have to be on the hook financially for it. So, for all the gentlemen out there who want to move swift, probably not wise to move in with nobody. Probably wise to always have your own place. Probably wise that even if you're dating someone, maybe not even attach, any, I'm not going to say titles or whatever, but it just gets sticky. I'm just saying, if that's your person and you feel like you want to take that move. But if you're risk averse and you're trying to figure out how not to get jammed up in the law system, because it's crazy out here, you might want to look twice. You know what I mean? Don't just move in with nobody and think everything's hunky-dory. You're going to take a good chunk of this person's life and you living together, and then you could just walk away and go down to Susie's house and start dealing with her. Shorty might be like, no, sir, and take you to court. Next thing you know, you're responsible for her as if she was your wife. Just saying. So now that you have this piece of information, probably wise, not to have a squatter wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't have a squatter wife out here. Just or don't be a squatter husband. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, make sure you don't have no squatter situation happening in your life. Okay? Whether it's somebody squatting in your property or squatting in a relationship, you need to pay attention, because somebody going to be financially responsible. It's going to be a financial burden to you in one way or another. Move wise, move swift. Always have your own place, fellas. You know what I mean? So that, you can establish some sort of separation. Even if y'all spend the majority of the time in one person's house or another person's house, is different in that you have two separate households, so nobody could tell you was, somebody responsible for this person and da-da-da. You just want to cover your bases so you don't get jammed up out here. I'm just saying. Now, for some people that don't care, it doesn't matter. For those, don't even worry about what I'm saying. But for those who care, who got something to lose, pay attention, because these laws is not exactly favorable, especially not to men. So you got to make sure you know what's going on. It's not favorable to property owners who, may have multiple homes and be back and forth, may travel in and out or go abroad. Somebody can just decide, hey, I'm staying in your property, bro. And next thing you know, the squad is in there, and now you got to go through the legal system to get them out, especially depending on whatever state you live in. So be careful, pay attention, and move wisely. That is the moral of this story. I thought this was something to talk about, but it's something that's actually happening out there, and a lot of people is not even privy to it. So pay attention, be vigilant, and move wisely. All right, signing off, yours truly, Mr. B.